Hello, YouTube. This is Ardwulf. Welcome to episode 2 of Gary Grigsby's War in the West, where we are fighting the battle for Sicily. If you are enjoying this series, this is a monstrously long game, so I don't know how far into this I'm going to get. But if you are enjoying the series and you're interested in seeing more of this content, video and say so in the comments below so that I know that. All right, so here's what we got. These are the results of the drops, and we have fairly limited intel on axis dispositions on the island. Is what we have. So what do we got here? We've got these engineers, which is fine, but we don't really need those. Looks like we've got enemy occupation in Catania, which is a location that we definitely need. Looks like we landed okay, but not amazingly well. Let's take a quick look at our air units. Are we ready to drop these guys yet? Go to, we can't even tell yet because we got to do the air directives. So it doesn't look like we did too badly here. We've got a nice strong stack. Now this stack is the numbers on the stack are the numbers of the stack, right? So it's 17 total combat value, and 16 is the number of movement points that the unit in the stack with the highest number of movement points has. So if we look at this, we're going to see that we've got this engineer regiment, which is a support unit. We've got this infantry division, the 1st Canadian Infantry Division. That's thus the weird color. They have 10 combat power. Now, the combat power is an abstraction, okay? It gives you an idea of how strong the combat unit is, but exactly what components make up that combat unit will have a big significance to how that combat unit performs in any given situation. So if you're trying to take a city, for example, where there's enemy troops dug in, you may not want to attack it with a powerful armored unit. So let's go to the air doctrine. That's the wrong screen. Air doctrine creation screen and get that taken care of. Where is it? Air doctrine screen here. That's not it either. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so we want to keep air superiority high for the next turn or two. Amphibious support south can come off because we're not doing any more amphibious invasions. That will free up some air to do other stuff. Well, I want to keep ground support where it's at for now, but we're going to probably swap these two positions in a turn or two. So let's set our air directives. Are there any other ones that I would like to make? I don't think there are. Assign new air directives. Do that. Eventually, I would like to move to doing at least some of it myself. Not because I don't think it's necessary right now. So let's execute those air directives. It is, of course, July 10th, 1943. And the results of the air phase will give us a little more intel from air recon on exactly where enemy troops are located. So as you can see, we're flying, again, a lot more sorties than the Axis are. Yeah, Axis are probably going to run out of sorties around 2,500 or 3,000. Yeah, maybe higher than that at this point in the war. Now, we're going to run over 20,000, I'm sure. My losses are going up a lot faster than the Axis losses. Now, on the other hand, if you've got more to lose. So that is a factor here, where the Axis will literally run out of planes I could shoot. But one of the things that I'm doing aggressively is to hit airfields and hopefully destroy Axis planes on the ground. You can manually manage basically all of this, by the way. You can send each of your air units, if you will, air wings or squadrons or air groups on their own individual missions, and you can tweak the parameters of those missions. You want bombers to fly in low, you can do that. You want bombers to fly in high, you can do that. All right, you can even see the altitudes here. So this air superiority flew pretty high. This tactical, as you'd expect, the ground attacks flew in relatively lower, although this air superiority flew in at 15,000 feet. So that's interesting, but okay. Um, so we lost 444 aircraft and had 1,000 aircraft damaged. They lost 149 aircraft and had 209 damaged. Somewhere here, turned up all the units. At where is the commander's report? Commander's report. This will give us a lot of information on what's where. I don't want to take the time to parse that right now, so let's leave it alone and go back down here to Sicily. Maybe I should have had the minimap on and see what we can do. Okay, so our objective is Messina. Okay, but we also need to take. See if we can toggle victory point locations on. I think that might not be relevant here. Um, we need to isolate the forces on the island and thereby clean them up. So what we're going to do is, as happened historically, we're going to take the Americans around the island to Trapani and then Salerno. But we're also going to take some American forces and send them up north to Termini. Now, hopefully, we're going to be able to drop some of these guys this turn. Looking at air transport, we can drop them. How many prep points do they have for the drop is the question. I should be able to see that on here, and I don't know where it is. So they basically accumulate prep points. I think I'll probably drop one of each this turn. But let's wait to do that. So let's start here with regular ground movement. And start with the 3rd U.S. Infantry Division attached to 2nd Corps. Now we'll, so I guess we're going to say that 2nd U.S. Corps, 7th Army, 7th Army, 2nd Corps, 2nd Corps. So I think we're probably going to move another corps, a U.S. Corps in here, I think. But let's start here. And we'll start sending 2nd Corps. That's the question, though, is we really want to take that. So we'll move them 1 hex, and then we'll do a mobile attack with them. So we can see when we mouse over, the attacker's combat value is 4.9, and the defender's combat value is 0. There's 2 types of attack we can do. This icon indicates a mobile attack, so we're basically moving in and attacking. Boom. If we mouse over and hold down Shift, we get a different icon, and that is a deliberate attack. It costs more movement points. So these movement points, even though they're called movement points, should really be thought of as action points, because they to do lots of stuff, it costs you those points. So we are going to, I think, hit this Italian unit with a mobile attack, and we did make it retreat, which is good. This is Omar Bradley's 2nd Corps. We're going to take the town of Agrigento, and we're going to do another mobile attack. We could do a deliberate attack here, and I think we will, because I really want those guys totally out of the way. So that works for me. And we'll leave this, let's see, looks like he's not moving any further. Now if we turn on possessed hexes, the hexes that are not shaded are hexes in our control. The hexes that are gray shaded are hexes that will pass to our control next turn. So that's why we have, even though we have 3 movement points left, we can't move into any of this, because it costs us more to move into a hex that isn't in our control. All right, so here's the, do we have any of that airborne left? It looks like no. That's irritating. All right, so let's move this unit up here with an eye towards moving him up to Termini, because we want to cut this rail line and therefore cut the supply link to this half of the island. So we would like to do that as quickly as we can. I'm going to move these Americans up here. and then we're going to start landing additional troops. So we'll go back to naval transport mode and select both of these. And then can I take them off the ships here? Am I only unloading a port? All right, that's fine. So I'll move them into, what is this unit? All right, outstanding. I'm going to move these guys. Now we've got a whole additional unit here. Let's do something with them. Oh, we're in naval transport mode. That's why that's happening. All right, let's move these guys up here. And now we can move all of this in naval transport mode into the port and take them off the boat. Now, another thing that we need to pay attention to is the command limitation here. We got the 2nd U.S. Armored Division, and we'll be able to do something with this. And it's got quite a bit of movement left, even though it just got off a boat. However, you do have to get off the ship. So it still has quite a bit of movement left. So we can get them up to about here. I guess we're going to have to be satisfied with that. All right, so their HQ. So the HQ has a command range, and I believe that's 5 hexes for a core HQ. So the units highlighted in yellow when I have the core selected are those units that are subordinate to the core. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this I think should be out of range. But we're going to move the core up here so that it's well within command range of everybody that it needs to be. We have a little bit of movement left, and here's the U.S. 2nd Corps. So let's move that up here. We definitely want the HQs behind the line and not on the line. We don't really have much ability to maneuver that stuff. We'll have to be satisfied with that. Now let's go back to our American forces and see what else we can send over. So this is U.S. 7th Army. This is Patton's HQ. Let's go to naval transport mode. And can we not quite get there? I think we can't quite get there. We'll have to be satisfied with that. Oh, he's hit. Great. That's just fabulous. And so we got him into port, but he can't unload yet because he doesn't have enough strategic movement to do so. That's all right. That's all right. As long as he's in range, we're going to be fine. So what do we got here? This U.S. This is British 5th Corps attached to the 5th U.S. Army. We're not going to move those over right now. This is British 10th Corps. This is the 5th U.S. Army. We're going to save these. Now we do have this reserve. We're going to take this unit and we're going to put it in this port so that we can move it to Sicily should we need to in a relative hurry. And for that matter, we're going to take these units and move them closer to a port as well, so that again, if we need to, we can move them over. This is okay. So the blue units are the subordinate units. The orange unit is the parent unit, and the yellow units are any sister subordinate units. So it's my feeling that this is plenty of backup, but we want a little bit of British backup too. So we have this is British 8th Army. What's Monty's HQ? We might not have floated Monty's HQ yet, unless this is it. This is British 8th Army. All right. For the moment, I think now it's totally not okay. Let's naval transport him away. And then any additional units that are British 8th Army, like all of these, are going to move up here. All right, now let's start moving our Brits. We definitely would like, let's get back into regular move mode. We're definitely going to do this, and we look at that unit just evaporated. We're going to take this town. Looks like we took a depot, so we took some supplies, so that's useful. And we'll move him up here. Now, what we definitely need to do is be in position to take the port of Catania, because we need that port. So let's see what happens. Now, if an HQ is there alone and it goes adjacent to an enemy unit, it'll just relocate. So we're going to take Catania, which is good. Now you see this extremely strong German position here. This is Mount Etna, a giant and active volcano. You cannot move into that hex. So this guy, we're going to keep him where he's at for now. Not 100% convinced that the paratroopers were doing anything particularly valuable here. So this is about as far north as it looks like we're going to be able to get with these units this turn. Which is probably fine. Let's see how far we can move them. Definitely we want to move as much up as we possibly can. Because we're going to need to put both of these hexes full force on this hex. Assuming the Germans are going to try and hold there, and they certainly should. Alright, so these units, let's put them back in naval mode. Put them here. Not enough remaining port capacity. So I'm really unclear as to what that means exactly. Not enough remaining port capacity. Let's see, I got that unit off the boat, no problem. I got that unit off the boat, no problem. So let's take this guy who's on a ship, send him down here. So I can only assume that the port's wrecked. One 142 strategic MPs are required to unload. That's unfortunate. All right, so these guys, I think, don't have enough strategic movement to unload this turn. That's okay. I wasn't counting on them for this turn anyway. So we got the 30th British Corps. I had to mute the microphone while I sneezed there. Sorry about that. Go back to regular movement mode. And we'll put 30 Corps up here. I'm going to make sure that 30 Corps is subject to British 8th Army, which is on land, so we should be fine there. I'd really like to be able to get these guys into the action as well, but it looks like we can't. We just don't have enough movement left. I could move this up, but I don't see any value in that if I can't move it all up. So I think we're basically satisfied with where we are. You can see this stack looks like it has 6 movement points left, but that's actually the HQ and not the unit. All right, so let's do one more thing and go down and look at our air. I'm gonna no. Let's go to air transport. We're gonna drop. So this is let's see here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the British. See what happens. Oh, there's a lot of flak. There's going to be a lot of flak around Syracuse. Yep, they're dead. Fatal drop hex. If we look at that, we're going to see they probably dropped in the sea. Only one anti-aircraft gun left, and it's an Italian. It's an 88, but it's an Italian unit, so defending forces retreated. All right, so it looks like we landed. So there's a super. They're super weak. I'm gonna wait to drop the Americans. I think. Maybe I'm not. I think what I'll do is I'll leave one in reserve. Because I don't think I have enough planes to land it. All right, I wanted that hex. That's an important, even critical hex. And it's not like the Italians are going to really be able to contest it. Well, I changed my mind about leaving one in reserve, so because that one was fairly successful. So, and we took the hex, so we now have a little more juice in here. Now, these are two super weak regiments here, and these are the various resources. This is ammunition. I think this is fuel, or maybe the first one's fuel. It's hard to say. If we look at this, we'll see 33 out of 56. So that's supply, fuel, and ammo. Their HQ is U.S. 7th Army, which is back here. So they're actually unsupported, but that's okay because we can actually move the U.S. 7th Army HQ, right? Oh, they're on a friggin' boat still. 130 strategic MPs are required. All right, so they're going to be unsupported for a turn. There's nothing I can do about that. Unless, no, there's nothing I can do about that this turn. All right, so we are done with turn 2 with our side of it. So let's see. Let's go back to here and end our activity phase, and then we'll see what happens. There is actually at least one, and I think two scenarios that are just air scenarios. One of which focuses on the strategic bombing campaign, and they're not long, and they actually would be kind of instructive. I don't feel like I quite grasped the controls of the air system as far as working out your own air directives. So let's see what happens here. Strategic bombing. We're losing a lot of planes, but we're also flying a lot of air superiority, and therefore, by my reckoning, we ought to be able to slowly be eroding the Axis ability to actually wage an air war. So optimally, what we would see is, oh look, they're attacking, but we held. Defender held. Brave lads of the British 1st Airborne. This is, of course, the same airborne division that got dropped in Operation Market Garden. So, if nothing else, we sit in the way of evacuation of troops from Sicily, and the Axis objective is going to be possible while evacuating as much of the good stuff from Sicily as they can. There's a Panzer Grenadier division down here, historically. I think it's 29th Panzer Grenadier, and the Hermann Goering Panzer Division, nominal division, but not really, which fought fairly well in Sicily. If you've seen the film Patton infamously claims that they beat the Hermann Goering Division, the best damn division in the whole German army. Well, that's not true, but they weren't terrible either. All right, so here's our destroyed units. Let's look at air losses because this is fairly critical right now. So Western Allied losses only 26. Let's see, total losses 32 planes this time, but the Axis lost 214. So that is shaping up. Ground losses. This may have been ugly. All right. Western Allies lost 707. We didn't really engage very much this past turn. The Axis lost 942. Now again, I'll trade that. I make that trade off any day. That's no problem. Even if we were losing more. So this is the air directives for next turn. So let's call this episode wrapped up. If you would like to see turn 3, please stay tuned. If you would like to continue this series, please let me know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this type of content. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.